Bye, have a great time.
ADR, this is King Black, and I titled this video New versus Pre-owned Watches. Which is better? You know, you've decided that a new watch is just what you need to accentuate your wardrobe. But how is one going to go about it? Do you go and buy retail, or do you scour the web for a pre-loved one? Both have their pros and cons. When you buy new, the pros are you get zero wear, it hasn't been dropped, it has a valid manufacturer's warranty, beautiful presentation, box and papers. But the cons are it comes unsized, so you may have to either you yourself or take it to a watch repair to size the watch for you. And also the retail price. You are paying you're paying whatever the price tag says it is, except unless it's an Invicta, which you're not gonna, or you shouldn't be paying $2,000 for an Invicta. All right, versus if you buy pre-owned watches, you have the pros of a bargain price. You can usually get watches 30%, 50%, 70%, 80% what they cost brand new. 80% off of a watch that you would have bought brand new. That's a big plus. You just saved a whole bunch of change. Got all them nickels in your pocket. Another pro is that they are already sized for the most part, meaning if you don't have an extremely large wrist or extremely thin wrist, usually between 675 inches to 7-inch wrist, most people fall into these categories, so you have a good chance of the watch already fitting you once it gets to you. Sometimes there's extras. Sometimes people buy aftermarket bands and they include the bands, or they buy aftermarket this or that, or they include an extra bracelet. Another pro is that sometimes you can find discontinued or rare, hard to find models. Something that a few years ago you didn't have the money for, and now that you have the money for it, you can't find it new anywhere. So your next best recourse is to buy used. Now the cons, there's wear and tear with the watches. People have scuffed them up on desks, or have banged them against a wall, or have banged them against car doors. These things happen. It just happens during the life of the watch. It could have been dropped. There's no way to tell, and 9 times out of 10 the person isn't going to be honest and tell you that they have dropped the watch. So there might be damage to the case, to the crown, there might be damage to the crystal. Something could be off and it's not keeping accurate time anymore. Water resistance can be compromised. You never know if they had to open up the back of the watch for any reason. Especially in the case of a quartz watch, they will have to open it up every time the battery dies to replace it. And if whoever is changing the battery out doesn't seal it properly, you basically shouldn't be diving it in a pool or going swimming with a used watch that you don't know the history of, unless you go get the seals checked and and get it water resistant. You have the possibility of missing links, so the person might send you the watch in whatever size it is, and that's the size that the watch is going to be. So you will either have to find extra links or hope that you don't put too much size on your wrist if it fits you already. Shallow and deep scratches is another one. This goes with wear and tear. Scratches can detract from the aesthetics of a watch. My very first watch has so many scratches on it that I just basically keep it at home now. Marks or cracked crystal. This one is another one that, it might have arrived and there's a nick in the crystal. And those could be a little pricey to replace if it bugs you that much to deal with the scratch in the crystal, or if you have a cracked crystal. But in the end of all this, it's still up to personal preference. Could you put up with condition issues if saving 30% or more off what it would cost new? Or are original boxes and paperwork a must for you? Is having a valid current manufacturer's warranty important for you? Either way you choose to go, wear what you like in good health. In terms of watches, you are limited only by your budget. You should never buy watches on credit unless you have one of these credit cards that offer you a good deal, like PayPal has, where anything over $100, they give you 6 months, 0% interest if you pay it off in full. Then those 6 months. Otherwise, they tack on all the interest you would have paid from the transaction post date. They will tack it on, and you will have to, pay that. So don't blow your bank on a watch if you can't afford it. But how about you? Do you prefer buying brand new, knowing that that watch got 0 miles? Or do you not really care, and as long as the watch looks in like new or pretty good condition, you just would rather save the couple $100s you would have spent otherwise, and use that to maybe buy a replacement band, or maybe pay for a polishing and get it cleaned up? We all like to look good, but the one major one that sticks out for me is finding these hard discontinued models that you like. For example, when I was shopping for my Invicta Grand Arsenal, I came across a very nice gold tone Sub Aqua Number 3 with a mother of pearl dial, model number 90124, and I can almost guarantee you it's almost impossible to find one for sale now. And I was able to pick one up for sub 200.